Good evening, everyone. This is Rob Mazak here. I am a psychic medium, and I talk a lot about many different things, mostly metaphysical and spiritual. And tonight it's more aligned to that. I did slip up a little bit and did a political podcast last time, not my normal state of discussion. And as usual, I'm just going to start with an idea, not really any scripts, not any practice. I'm not going to read much tonight. I do have a couple of little blurbs I want to read to reinforce what I'm going to talk about, or at least start with this idea, because other people have done the work on this topic, and I want to make sure I say some of it right. And it is really about the fact that I believe very strongly from the bottom of my heart that our duty and our role as a human being is to evolve into something way more than we imagine we can be. We didn't just come here and be born to work, eat, sleep, consume, and die. I mean, that's just silly. And if that's the case, then we probably are no more than some simulation or game that somebody's having us play out our lives in, which is not impossible, of course. However, I don't believe that that's really the case. I believe even if we were in a video game, that we are in a place as a human being in this life right now to be able to do just about anything we want. I'm sure there are some limits. I mean, we could not necessarily learn to fly as a human being. Maybe not. At least not in our own bodies. I mean, we can fly. Obviously, we have planes and things, and we do have ideas about flying. However, you kind of get my point. I want to read a little bit of this for a second about the odds of us being born. I've said this in many podcasts, but if this is the first time you've heard me speak in a podcast, then maybe this is new information to you, but I want to bring this home a little bit and talk about it. So, I got this from a TED Talk. Mel Robbins was the speaker. She is a scientist, I understand, or very much in line with science. And she says this to one of the people in the audience. The guy's name was Doug. So we'll kind of caveat with that. So she says, the odds of Doug being born at the moment in time he was born, to the parents he was born to, with the DNA structure that he has, is 1 in 400 trillion to 1 odds. I mean, if you think about that, that is staggering. That is 4 with what? Let's see, 9 zeros? Yeah, something like that. There's a lot of zeros there. So the point is that many of the souls or beings that could have been born, could have become a human being in this reality, whatever it is. We kind of alluded to that a little bit earlier. The odds of us actually coming here to exist and to have a life are so amazingly slim. It's hard to even imagine 400 trillion. I have a hard time imagining $400 sometimes, and 400 trillion, that's a lot of odds. And I believe the numbers are like, I don't know, 90 billion people or something. I forget the exact number, but a lot of people have walked this planet, from records as far as we can go back to. And so the thing is that even more astounding is that every human being on this planet, in this reality, is a marvelous masterpiece. I mean, if you just look at the human body and all the miles and miles of nerves and blood vessels and cells and on and on and on, it is just crazy astounding that we are such a, I guess, marvelous machine that has been put together by some creator which is also another topic we're not necessarily going to talk about tonight. But the thing is that we are here. And the thing is, we don't have a lot of time. 70, 100 years or so is not really a long time in the grand scheme of things at all. And we are very unique. Each one of us has a DNA structure that is completely different from any other human being that's ever existed. Think about that for a second. If we have 8 billion people on this planet or so, and if the number I'm quoting, 90 billion people have walked this earth before, that's a lot of unique people that have walked this earth. And those of us that are here now still have an opportunity to do marvelous things. We're going to circle back on that in a second. But the thing is, I don't think we realize how fortunate or lucky, or however you would like to quote that we are to be here, to have these experiences. And I know many of you people are going, well, my life sucks. It's been horrible and all these things are not good, and I've not had a wonderful life at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I want to be here? Well, the thing is, we are here, and there's a lot of ideas and thoughts on why we were created, each of us. But the thing is, though, that each of us that is alive and participating in this reality right now are required to hold this reality together. So without each unique individual on this planet, this idea, this planet, this human consciousness, I don't even know what you like to call it, could not gel together and stay together. It's just like look at the human body, for example, right? There's trillions of cells, depending on which book you read and which scientist you believe. There's a lot of cells. But each one of those cells is very unique as well. We have a whole body full of unique cells that are all designed to do different functions. And they all have their own little DNA themselves. And so the thing is, as you see, to create just one human body, you need trillions of very unique cells. And in this case, we have billions of unique human people, entities, that hold this reality together. If you ever feel like you are not important, let's rethink that for a second. Because you are one of the fortunate and lucky people that get to live and have a human experience. As good or bad as it might seem, it is way better than those that have never existed and will never exist. And so we have an opportunity to do lots and lots of things. But unfortunately, society and governments and laws and different leadership throughout this reality on this planet seem to have structured things to where we are in survival mode most of the time, and we don't necessarily pay attention to how unique we are and realize that within us we have the capacity to do just about anything that can be done. And there's a lot more things that have not been invented, have not been done, that many of us still need to bring forth. And I believe that through human beings, we are that conduit from the other side. The other side can mean many things as well, totally another topic. That the information flow, the downloads, the information is the best way to put it, that flows to us from outside of ourselves, that's part of everything that is, was, and shall be. And you've probably heard that in many religious texts. That is available out there in some kind of cosmic database or internet, does flow into our consciousness. Those that are paying attention, those that capture it, and actually bring it into this reality. I personally don't think, through my own experience, of course, and those with all the clients I've worked with, I don't think that we as human beings, if we were just left here to be cave people, would ever evolve into what we are now. I mean, we have such technology, such advances, all kinds of things that even as a kid, 50 years ago, I could never imagine being in a place like this, much less however long ago the cavemen existed. I'm not the best at history. But you think about that, where do these ideas come from? Where does this knowledge come from? I don't know. There's a lot of ideas there once again, and we could talk about that maybe if we have a little time left in this podcast. But the thing is, all that there is available to all of us. If we just learn to tune in, pay attention, and capture that and bring it into this reality. And that could make us famous, that could make us rich, that could do all kind of things. The idea of that benefit is that anything that we can do to improve ourselves, I've said this many times on lots of podcasts, I'm going to say it and probably till the end of my podcast days, is that it is not selfish to evolve as a human, to be rich, to be wealthy, to be great or the greatest at something. It is not, because just like all the cells within your body that are individualized, right? They always are striving to improve and become better. And if any of those cells fall off and they cannot keep up, they are just simply taken away and replaced by other cells. Within the human body, you have to have all them cells competing amongst their individual selves to become better and better every day, which creates a much wholer body, much more complete body, a body that begins to evolve. And of course, we all know that as we live, from the day we are born, we're basically, somewhere around 18, 20, 21, we're also on the process of dying, because we don't get to live forever, at least that we know of, in this human body, in this form that we're in now. Once again, that's another topic. Well, I got a lot of topics here that we could talk about, but we don't want to talk for 2 hours. Most people won't listen for 2 hours. Back to the original thought. I truly believe that it is our duty, our God-given duty, or our Creator's given duty, to actually do something with the life that we are given here to live. I'm not saying that having an ordinary life is bad. Maybe that's what you're here for. Maybe you're here just simply to help others to evolve and to help them up. And I don't know. But the point is, many of us don't actually know what we want to do or where we want to go, or any ideas about what down the road would look like. Although the future's not guaranteed, I get it. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow and all would be done. It didn't matter what my plans were. But the thing is, we might just live to be 100, 120 or whatever. And wouldn't that really suck if we did not put any effort into becoming something that we can become known for example, or contribute to society, cures, things, all kinds of things that are available for us to do. And here we are at 120 years old and we haven't done anything but eat, work, consume, die, right? Come on now. I think there's got to be more to it than that, especially with the odds that we have of actually being born in this moment to the parents that we have, with the DNA structure that we have. There must be a cosmic design. There must be a cosmic purpose, very specific purpose, why each individual human being is brought into this reality for. Many times we just keep going through life with our blinders on, and we're not paying attention to all the signs and all the, I guess signs is the best way to put it. We're just not paying attention to us, and we're stuck in survival mode, and we're stuck in the midst of laws and governance, and we're not actually figuring out that we're work on ourselves. Many of the things that are going on around us, we cannot change. I get it. The government machine is rolling. It's not probably going to stop anytime soon. All these wars that are going on, all these diseases that are popping around, like we just went through COVID and all these things. I understand that those things are there. They are meant to be there, I'm sure. But the thing is, we can't change those things, at least not as a single person. If we could get the whole population together, we could create change. However, we can't even get two people to agree most of the time. But the point is that we do currently have control of our own mind, our own selves. In other words, we can figure out how to evolve ourselves. We have the freedom to do that. Actually, we always have the freedom to do that until they can figure out how to capture our minds, which may not be too far away. But even then, I still think we have a way out of that we can actually evolve ourselves. So, for example, we go through life and emotions and things happen to us. Emotions pop up uninvited. Things happen to us. I get it. The thing is, a lot of times we get knocked down for whatever reason, lots of traumas, just different things that happen in life. We're going to get hit. We're going to get knocked down. I get it. But the thing is, staying down is a choice. Getting back up is also a choice. Everything is a choice. The thing is, if you continue to lay on the ground, no matter what happened to you, even though it wasn't your fault, it becomes your fault because you're not doing anything about it. We should not let anybody's action against us affect us for our entire lives. And I understand that trauma gets embedded within the wiring of our minds, and sometimes we can't even wrap ourselves around the invisible monster. I understand. But the thing is that there's always a way of escaping those things. And we can't allow people and circumstances to dictate how we live and why we live. Speaking of that, we also have to have some type of direction. Because if we just go through life on an automatic pilot and allow the 95% of the thoughts we have every day for years and years and years to program us and continue pushing us through life with the same results, then we're going to end up on our deathbed going, what the heck was I here for? But the thing is, most people don't achieve anything in life or achieve anything great and meaningful in their life, at least to them. And that's an individual thing, because achievements and what you think is great in life, it's got to be different between everybody. It has to be, right? What I think is great is not necessarily your idea of great. But the thing is that when I ask most of my clients, I should say when I ask all my clients, and most of them, a very, very large percentage of them do not have an answer to this. I'm like, where do you see yourself going? What is it that you want in life? What is it that you want to get out of this semi-short life, at least in the grand scheme of things like we talked about? Most people cannot answer that question. The thing is, we can get almost anything we want out of life. I say almost because, just like the flying example, that's probably not going to happen. But I think you understand where I'm going. We can get just about anything we want out of life if we actually put that goal out there, put that idea out there, and then step into that process, I guess. You can't get anywhere, even if you're trying to get in your car and go to work. You can't get to work unless you get up and get in your car or get on the bus or put your shoes on and walk down the street. You have to actually take action to go to that place. And it's the same thing with life and goals. If you don't know where you're going, you're surely not going to like where you end up most of the time. And I'm not saying that some people don't have glorious lives without ever trying. That is true. And there's also people that struggle all their whole life and still come out, in the same aspect as those that have had a golden life. But those people, I think, that have a life where everything they do is like gold and everything seems easy, everything comes easy, is cool and it sounds wonderful. But at the same time, when you're looking at people that talk about grinding, people that have had a life of favor, not because people give them money. I'm saying it just seems like everything they touch, they're good at. They don't understand the grind. They don't even they have no clue, right? And I hate to admit it, I kind of find myself in that category a lot, where just about everything I do, I put my hands to, it just seems to work. And, I don't know that I completely understand the grind either. I mean, I've had periods in my life where it was dark night of the soul and all that. I get it. But the thing is, if we go through hard times, I think that is what refines and defines us as humans. It's the challenges that make us a better person. It helps us improve and get stronger, because the problems are not going to be any less in life. The problems around us are never going to be the same or get less. It's just we become stronger. And that's really, I think, the process of evolution or evolving as a human. I mean, right now we're in a time when it seems like everybody's talking about the Great Awakening and the ascension process and the consciousness, rising and all that. And that may very well be. There's a lot of things behind that. But I want to caution everybody not to get on the bandwagon of stuff that people talk about on the internet and not without understanding it. I think that's all an individual process. Yes, it feels like many of us are going through it collectively, but I think it really also comes down to this, is that we are living in a time when it's more acceptable to talk about the crazy things, right? The fact that you might have conversations with Lucifer, or that you have spirit guides and all those ideas that, when I was growing up, oh my goodness, man, you would get your butt beat for talking like that. You definitely didn't say things like, I like men, or women liking women, or any of that. I mean, that would be really bad. But we are living in a time when it is a lot more tolerable, not more allowed. But people don't look down on you as much because of all these wild ideas and things that we're talking about. Getting downloads and being a psychic and being a medium or doing all these things. People don't look at that so badly. So in a way, it feels like some of this ascension process, quote unquote, and awakening might just simply be because of the times. Sure, there's more things going on behind the scenes, planetary alignments and all these different things. I get it. We're not going to talk a lot about that. But the point is that we have an opportunity now to be just about anything we want to be without much scrutiny, without much social bashing. We can be a lot more things than was socially allowed in the past. So now is the time to take that 400 trillion to 1 advantage that we are here and actually put the work in to become whatever it is you want to be. But the first thing you have to do is decide what that looks like. What is the how? What is the why? What is it that you are trying to accomplish in the time you have left here, which we don't know what that is, and come up with some direction. Just like the car example we talked about before. Most of us don't just, get in our car in the morning and just go somewhere and wonder why we end up in the middle of the hood or something when we really needed to go to the grocery store or something. We actually have a plan most of the time when we get in our car where we're going to go. And if for some reason the road is blocked or there's a detour, there's always another way around, and we always end up where we're going to go. So that's the way life should be. It should be GPS oriented. It should be some direction, some particular destination, some goal, even if it's small or if it's large. Personally, I suggest a very large goal that you may never even get. Because really in the process of chasing goals and dreams and ideas, is really where you become the better human being. It's not so much in getting those achievements. It is the process of what it is taking to strive for those achievements. And even if you reach a goal, you should then find a new mountain to climb. Because if you settle on the top of the mountain after an achievement and just polish a trophy from the past, then once again, you're right back where you started. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. You're not evolving. I think we should take every hill we see, and I think we should put a lot of effort into it. I'm not saying we should never sleep and we should run hard all day long. There's cycles and parts of our life that we need to have, rest, work, eating, all of those things. You got to put those into perspective and balance. And will there be times, yes, that you have to sleep less? There'll be times when you get to sleep more, sure. But really, when we lay our head down at night to sleep, or whenever we sleep, we should feel like we earned that sleep. Not just sleep because there's nothing else to do, or we don't have any goals, or we don't have any ideas or aspirations, or we'd rather binge watch on Netflix. I think you see where I'm going. I believe it is our duty to actually evolve as a human from whatever point we are now to somewhere down the road, to become much better as a human being, to become way more than we could ever imagine even that we could become, because it is almost endless what we can do with this human life in the times that we are now, because of all the things we just talked about. Let us take advantage of the times and the fact that we are very unique, and there's nobody here on this reality like us, and there will never be anybody like us. Let's take that idea, that mentality, and let's drive ourselves towards a monstrous goal. The kind of goal that if you tell somebody about your goal and they laugh at you, that's what you want. If they say, well, that's a pretty good idea, then you're probably not dreaming big enough. We should always have a goal so large that it's nearly impossible sometimes to achieve. Because if we set ourselves on tiny goals and we get them, that's kind of cool. It feels like we're winning, and we may have to start that way. But the point is that we have to have something so big and so monstrous that, nobody would ever believe that you could do it. And you probably don't even believe it. But the thing is, getting started is the goal. It's just like that old saying, right? You have to put the work in. The only time success comes before work is in a dictionary. We've all probably heard that. It sounds silly, but that's exactly it. You can work on your thoughts, which is very important. You can work on your feelings, which is very important. But you have to put the work in. Otherwise, nothing works. No work, nothing works. It's just plain and simple, right? There's no way around that. There's a lot of factors to success and reaching goals, but hard work, putting the work in, whether it's hard or not, lots of work, whatever, is mandatory, and once again, part of our duty. So I rambled a little bit, but I wanted you guys to kind of understand where I was coming from tonight, that we are very unique. We're here by large odds, and we are supposed to do something with this life besides just survive and live and then die someday. We're all going to die, of course. Let us all strive to do something more than we could ever imagine, and quit sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves, and just get busy, no matter who around you is trying to talk you out of it. You need to do your work, your mission, your goals, because this is your life, your ride, your path. Nobody else can do it for you. They can help walk along with you and help, but you are the primary force in your life. and we should stop relying on other people to do things for us. We should run our own race, no matter who is in our lives. All right, I will get off my soapbox. Sorry, guys. I just feel like there's so much that we can do and we're not doing it. I'm not saying everybody out there. Anyway, I would like to invite you to my contact page on my website so you can reach out to me. We can talk about these things. I do really like to help others, help people understand themselves so they can start doing the work. It's not me that's doing the work. It's just helping people get out of their own way is really what it's all about. People have helped me, and I love to help others. My website is lifebymazak.com, LIFEBYMAZAK.com. There's a contact page. You can figure out what works best for you. There's a few opportunities there for contact. And if you don't feel like reaching out to me personally, you can go on my YouTube channel, for example, and I do a lot of these talks, and you can find different topics and ideas, things that might help you out to maybe think a little different and maybe get out of your shell and get busy with this life that we have. I will talk to you again very soon. You'll hear lots of podcasts from me. I hope to hear from you. Stay strong and live your life.